welcome to Fancast Friday, even though it's technically no longer Friday. It is Saturday if you are on the East Coast, Central Time, and I think Mountain Time at this point. But for all you West Coast people, it's still Friday. So you know what? We're rolling with it, and it's A-okay. But today we're talking about Alfred Pennyworth, even though he has been long dead in the comics for almost a decade at this point. Well, he is still our favorite butler and one of our favorite Bat family supporting characters. So we will be talking about him and who we think should play him in the DCU. Currently, he's being played by Andy Serkis in The Becks. Weird casting choice, but he nailed it, and he was definitely great in the role, even though I personally view him more as Penguin, but that's just me. But we are going to be talking about Alfred Pennyworth, the trusty butler of Batman. I am, of course, your host, John. Lovely to see you all, if you're in the chat. If you're not in the chat, then, well, still, it's lovely to see you. And, of course, we are joined by Dan. Dan is also here talking about Alfred. Are you excited about this fan casting, Dan, or are you just like, nah, let's get this shit over with?
It's Friday somewhere, and you guys voted for the topic, so here we are talking about it. I mean, look, here's the thing. We've never really had a bad Alfred. Like, have we? Like, it's whether it's Michael Caine or currently you got Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. I literally just said it.
I mean, like you said, yeah. So, and even I forget the name of the actor who played it in all those 80s and 90s movies.
Michael Goff.
Michael Goff, who
and then of course we have
Jeffrey Wright.
Anyway,
he's like no guns. Yeah, that's your thing, man. I love.
And then Jeremy Irons, who's arguably the best Alfred we've ever gotten, probably. So,
dude, Jeremy Irons is incredibly underrated. You know what? I'm working on putting up a tier list Tuesday poll right now, and I needed one more option. I did put this up before and it never got voted, but I'm gonna put ranking all the Alfreds that we've ever gotten.
Yeah, sure.
Option. So,
and we all know that Michael Caine is gonna be S because Dan is gonna fucking shoot me in the head if we don't put anything Dark Knight related not in S. So
John, why did we fall, Master John? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up. Exactly. So when you fall,
I will say one of the best lines from Batman Begins is like, "What's the point of doing all those bloody push-ups if you can't even live damn long?"
He's like, "Okay." Point taken. It's just the humor, because people think those movies were very serious, but I'm like, there's some low-key
really
great
like they
humor like
it's
in
like
those films.
The Morgan Freeman monologue to Mr. Reese, where he's like, "Good luck with that," or he's like, "I thought you were dead," and he's like, "Sorry to disappoint." Like, it could be funny. It's cheeky British humor. Like, come on.
Yeah, even Liam Neeson's like Ra's al Ghul is like, you decide. I see you took my advice to on theatricality a bit too literally. And I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, yo, Eric, we got enterprising in the chat. Okay,
let's get into obviously
it.
You guys picked DCU Alfred, which beat DCU Wonder Woman director yet again. Poor Tatiana Maslany and Captain Atom, they just can't catch a break. But DC Wonder Woman, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Oh well, but you guys wanted Alfred. We did get some suggestions already. We'll talk about those at the end. So, don't you worry. So yeah, why don't we get started on the actual proper fan casting? Are you excited about any of my picks, Dan, or no?
I think a couple of them were surprising to me. I didn't see those coming. So I
didn't want to go with like the most basic bitch answers, like the most obvious ones, and I think
basic. That's one way of talking about it. Yeah.
I just like we'll see. Obviously, we're gonna get to him later, but like
yeah,
I did go with a couple obvious ones. Like my first one, for instance, I went with Hugh Laurie. I think Hugh Laurie, he's been as the bottom pro has said, he's been a popular fan cast for years. Um, but I think Hugh Laurie would be a great Alfred. He's at the perfect age of not being too old, but not being incredibly young. So he's like he can be in movies for a while if there's multiple movies, 66, and he looks pretty old. And but he's not gonna be like decrepit, like fucking like 86 or 90, like too old, you know. But I think like
What are you saying?
similar
We're not
to
gonna get an Alfred till he's 90 situation, John?
um
No.
but the thing is, in regards to Hugh Laurie, similar to Jeremy Irons, he would nail the sassier, sarcastic iteration of the character, like very much like Batman the animated series Alfred, who was just like pure sass. He's like, I had the where he's like, where Batman's like, I have to leave again. He's like, oh, I did a fabulous dinner of nothing, and then you can see him in the background like chucking the nothing dinner into the garbage can. Like, I could imagine someone like Hugh Laurie doing that. Hugh
Absolutely.
Laurie would just be
Yeah.
so perfectly sassy, and it would be
I mean, I thought
phenomenal.
like the Jeremy Irons version of Alfred was underrated with his sass.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
because well, that's
it's
probably the sassiest Alfred
yeah,
we've gotten, and he's very much like that in the comics. Like he's
yeah,
so like he's that deadpan
yep.
British dry humor, so it worked. But the problem is with Hugh Laurie, he is kind of feeling even though he's not like 80, he's feeling the effects of getting older. So he's
Mm-hmm.
mainly doing voice work, not always, but like he's in this show called Tehran, which I think is like an espionage
Yeah,
show,
yeah.
and a couple other things as well. But he's mainly doing voice work. Like he's doing some like live audio dramas of like the Harry Potter books where he plays Dumbledore, which are pretty good from what I've heard. Um, so he's like kind of feeling the effects, so maybe he doesn't want to do that. He has had several disabilities, making it harder to work. Like, um, I was reading up on this. He's dealt with a lot of mental health issues and acting like he had a limp for years on House actually like affected
Mm-hmm.
him like physically, and which kind of left him in kind of a bad place physically. So there's that, and maybe he just doesn't want to do major IP, like do a major IP like DC. Yeah, he's done like other IPs obviously, but maybe he's just not interested in doing something DC, something that will be a lot of heavy lifting and many movies and contracts and shit like that. So he just kind of wants to do his own thing, and because that's like the big thing when you're dealing with older actors. So I don't know.
Yeah, usually when you bring up that maybe he wouldn't be interested and, for reason XYZ, I'm like, well, of course, if he got the call, he would be all for it because it would be the biggest
Well,
role
I
of
don't
his
know.
career
There are
kind of
some
thing.
people that have
But
denied it. You know, Josh
no, no, no,
Brolin
no,
said
no,
no to Green
exactly.
Lantern. So
No, I hear you, but the point I was trying to make, by the way, hello, Ron. Usually, when we talk about the idea of, oh, they might not be interested, it's a lot of it is like speculation in the sense that we're kind of speaking on their behalf. But in this case, and there are every once in a while, like some instances where actors, are more picky or more judicious with their opportunities. And like Hugh Laurie is one of those guys. He doesn't feel any need to do an iconic role. Like you said, he's also, at a point in his career where he doesn't need to prove anything to anybody. So I totally believe that he just might not have any interest. Like, and to be honest, like unless James Gunn walks up to you and gives you the role, and then you deny him, if you're not interested, you're not going to audition, and if you don't audition, you're not going to get the job. So that's a perfectly valid reason. But like you said, he's been a popular fan cast for years. I mean, a lot of Hugh Laurie's own personality sort of like bled into ultimately like what House was as a character, and so like you said, it would just fit right into who we know Alfred as, not only the comic book iterations but also what we have seen on the screen, whether it's on the big screen or the small screen. So yeah, Hugh Laurie is a great place to start. I know that a couple of you guys in the chat don't like it. Bane is here in the chat. Bane will break you, saying he would be perfect since he played a doctor on TV. He can heal the bat after I break his back. Yeah, you know what? Great points. All great points. John, where would you put this on a likelihood meter? Of course,
um,
which again, if you guys are not familiar, one is very unlikely, 10 is like pretty much a lock, and we're in
I would
that
say
sense
this is a
talking about
4.
like how
Like
realistic this is
kind of,
of a
sort of,
pick.
maybe.
Yeah.
You know, I could see it happening, but it's probably unlikely. for the most part. So there's that. This I think he would nail the sassy or sarcastic iteration of the character. But then we go to like maybe something out of a little bit out of left field, not totally out there, but a little bit. And I think Peter Davison, me being the
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Who fan, I had to put a Doctor Who actor in there. So not will not be the last, although he will be the only actual Doctor. But had to put that in there. Not my favorite Doctor, probably one of my least favorite Doctors, but I think with this iteration, he would nail the more like fatherly mentor iteration of the character, which we haven't gotten. We got like bits of it with Michael Caine's, but like this would be more of like he treats Bruce Wayne like a son type thing, and I think Peter Davison would do that very, very well.
I mean, to be
Um,
fair, the Andy Serkis iteration right now kind of he plays it a little more straight like that too.
a
That
little
kind of like
bit,
with the
but I
hospital
feel like the
scene so far,
execution
you
was a
know.
little messy for me.
Yeah, no, I hear you, totally hear you, but like I feel like that's where they've been hinting at so far. And then, like you said, the Michael Caine iteration of the character, definitely by the Dark Knight Rises, it kind of felt like that. They were and even the way the movie ends. But nonetheless, continue.
And the thing is with Peter Davison, he has a rather free schedule. He just kind of he does like a lot of stuff like on Big Finish for Doctor Who. He does like a couple work lines, maybe some like appearances on smaller British television shows. He's kind of a working actor. He just picks up what he can get. And he's mainly just really tied to like Doctor Who. He's just kind of never broken that bubble. Um and that's kind of what it is for a lot of those actors that have worked on that show. It's kind of a blessing and a curse where they're kind of stuck on this. And while they continually get work thanks to like Big Finish, they're still kind of stuck in that little bubble of this like niche sci-fi show, which is a little bit of a shame, but they're working and they're getting money, so that's good. And he could bring something to the role that we never really see before, not just that fatherly mentor iteration of the character, but like this genuine, like fresh face, caring, like something so different because he's just such a different actor to someone like Michael Caine, Jeremy Irons, fucking, Michael Goff, where it's like these very like big highbrow actors that were very popular. It's just like this like niche kind of actor would be taking like this big role in this big franchise, and I think he could give us like a very different, very, very different portrayal. The problem is he isn't that well known outside of the UK and the Doctor Who fandom. As I said, he's kind of just it's not he doesn't only do Doctor Who stuff, like he doesn't only do Big Finish, but he does do a lot of he does do a lot of like very small British shows and all that. He was on Law and Order UK for a little bit. I do remember that, but that didn't really last very long. And then and it might be a little bit too out there because like I just don't think he would even be like I don't think he even really knows anything about DC or like what it is or what this character is, let alone try to go to an audition for it. So I think he would be too out there even for him. And they and with this in terms of damn it. I just had to move it out of the way because my camera's in the way. They wouldn't want this type of iteration because I feel like with how the character has gone over the years, they don't really like the more like gentler fatherly iteration of the character. They want the tougher and gruffer iteration, which I think they would want to go to. Um, but I also think he's at a good age, early 70s. Um, he could be in the role for a couple movies, like maybe 3, 4, 5 movies. And then, like, if they need to kill him off, they can. There is like a fucking actual story arc that showcases Alfred Pennyworth's death. So they could always just recast him. It's Alfred. It's not like Batman. So, you know, um, but, uh, but yeah, I think with all of that,
By the way, can I just before you do your likelihood meter, I was
sure.
just gonna say, in a world where John Lithgow is gonna be tied up with Harry Potter till he dies, uh, Peter Davison could certainly work well. Uh, And like you said, he's not a very well known actor. He's more of a character actor. And we talk about how Batman, there's been a lot of actors who have been like A-listers, even though in many instances they weren't A-listers till after they played Batman. Maybe Ben Affleck was probably the one exception. We've also had a lot of A-lister Alfred character, actors too, like Michael Caine. I don't know if you want to call. I mean, Jeremy Irons certainly is up there in terms of popularity and how many people know about him, and from having played Mufasa and many other iconic roles. And then of course Andy Serkis right now, from his MCU days, from Lord of the Rings before that, and of course the Planet of the Apes franchise. So I mean, yeah, you also have examples of lesser known actors in the role, but I mean, Peter Davison would certainly be in a different sort of vein of an actor than what we have been seeing in recent times, from Jeremy Irons to Andy Serkis, even before that, Michael Caine. Uh, so yeah, I mean, it would be a different take, but I'm open to the idea. He would certainly, if he was to do it over the course of, I don't know, like a trilogy of movies, he might actually literally end up doing it till he's 90. Because I'd imagine by the time the first of those, Brave and the Bold movies come out, which James Gunn recently said 2028 seems like a fiction because the script is not even done yet. The implication being that the Batman movie in the DCU might not even come out till 2029 at the earliest. So
Right.
that would mean if they do a full trilogy, like the first of those would come out 4 years from now, he'd already be 78. And then let's say it takes him 3 years between each one of those movies, and maybe longer if there's a Justice League movie somewhere in between. Yeah, he will literally be playing the character till he's 90. Which, I mean, in this case, I don't think is a bad thing. If he was playing Batman till he's 90, it would be something different. But yeah, very, very underrated pick, I think. Because, yeah, well,
Yeah,
Law and Order
but
UK didn't last. This could be a good fit.
yeah, I mean the likelihood meter is very low. I mean, well, yes, but actually no. I think it would be very, very unlikely for him to do the role. I just think it would be a cool pick. Like I just think like someone I was like, oh, who could be like a good older, like fatherly kind of iteration? And I think Peter Davison would do that very, very well. I tried to pick like different iterations of how you would do Alfred, so
Yeah.
you know.
And I mean, this is as different a pick from Hugh Laurie as you could have gone. So.
Yeah, exactly. But we're gonna keep going different because we picked another Doctor Who actor, although he hasn't played the Doctor, but he was on Doctor Who, and then he was on one of your favorite shows, and that's Anthony Stewart Head, aka
Hey,
Anthony
Ted
Head.
Lasso.
He was
Hey.
on Ted Lasso, also, more famously Giles on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and previous work shows he could do a fatherly figure with a bit of an edge and some sass. Like Giles is very sassy. Like he was like the king of sass on that goddamn show. But like he was also like like had a lot of good advice for the younger generation and all that stuff. So there was that as well. Like he actually um it's I just think like he kind of has a perfect mix of a lot of different things that you could go for with Alfred. And he's a little bit younger. He's at 71, which is, I think a decent age. Um, and I think his role on Buffy shows that I think he could do this role very well. And he has been shown to be open to being a part of major IPs, not just Buffy, but he's also, Ted Lasso and Doctor Who and all that stuff. So he's been part of major IPs, and I think he's more open to that than someone like who's older, who's like kind of like more of that classical actor of like, I don't do IPs, I'm too good for that. So I think Anthony Head would do that very well. And he's at a very good age. Like I think late 60s, early 70s is probably the perfect age for Alfred, someone that can do longevity but also be the old guy. And the cons is that possible scheduling conflicts. I know he wasn't like a major character on Ted Lasso, but they are starting season 4, and maybe they'll do another season. I don't know, and it takes a while for these things to happen, a lot of filming time, so maybe that would stretch into a Batman. Again, I'm reaching with this one. I genuinely couldn't think of any cons because I think he would be genuinely a really good Alfred. And the only other thing is like maybe he's not interested. Like that's the only thing I can think of. Well, the people fucking wanted to see
Well,
it, Ron. Okay, like, damn.
yeah, you guys voted for the topic, and we're basically saving up some of your picks that are not part of our picks here, and we'll bring those in later. So we're saving your comments. So keep commenting, and if you're watching after we're live, drop your picks in the comments down below. Like Tony, I think tuned out because it's too late in the night for him while we're doing this live. So, and he usually drops a big comment after the fact, and we can bring that in for the next Friday's Q&A session on DCU Daily. But to answer your question about the whole Ted Lasso scheduling conflict, he plays like the villainous like original owner, like the ex-husband of the
Hannah Wadding, yeah.
then current owner of, why am I forgetting the name of the team in Ted Lasso? But anyway, so his character basically sort of wrapped up, like in terms of like his role, like the Rupert Mannion, I think is how you pronounce it. Like he suffers from major public humiliation, and probably gets ruined financially. I haven't seen the entirety of season 3 yet, so I'm behind. But from what I understand, they kind of wrap up his character story. That's not to say you can't see him return in some kind of capacity
somehow.
Rupert
returned.
Yeah, I don't think Anthony's gonna have like a starring.
I don't think so either.
Role. Like he's not gonna be part of the regular cast moving forward.
So for me, I do think that let's go with a 7. I think a 7's a good possible. I don't think, like, again, because he's a no name, and I think James Gunn tends to, even though it would be Andy Muschietti's pick, I think they tend to avoid big names. They're kind of like Lars Eidinger. Who the fuck is that? And he's playing the fucking main villain of the next fucking Superman movie, even though it's not really a Superman movie, but whatever. But I think he would nail a lot of different aspects, and I think he would be, I think it's late.
It's a great 50s. Point, AA.
Yeah, so I picked a range of different actors. Like I picked 60s, 70s, and even 50s. So speaking of 50s, that's one of my next choices. That was Tobias Menzies. He is the youngest person on our list. He's in our 50s. And I thought, thank you. I appreciate that. But like, so when I was going through my list, too. I was like, I also wanted to see more of like a soldier.
Hey, Bob.
Like, hi, Bob. I was thinking more of like a soldier like iteration, kind of like what the Earth 1 Batman Alfred was, where he was like this guy that was brought in to help out. Like he was this veteran. He limped around with a cane, and then he kind of just got stuck being the butler. Like he just kind of was just this guy that was from like Thomas Wayne's like army days, and he just kind of got stuck being the butler to this kid, and just kind of went along with it. So that's what like I can imagine. Like you can like make him look older. You could fucking do like
he's in his 50s. But you
can do the you can throw some fucking powdered sugar in his hair, and boom, you got gray hair. Yeah. There you go. Calm down.
I mean, he's classically trained. Like he studied at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, and you see there's a pedigree there of other actors who have had similar experiences. He was in The Crown. He was in Game of Thrones.
He was in
Of course, he was an Outlander, like you said. I mean, and he was in my favorite movie of 2025 as the villainous,
speaking of villainous owners
or like board members on Apex GP's board, who we thought was on the side of Javier Bardem's character, but yeah, he was in F1. So that's where I recognize him the most from, because I haven't seen like as much of some of those shows that he's been a part of, but yeah, I mean, Tobias Menzies would be a great pick. Like you said, it kind of matches the age profile, 50s to 70s, that AA was suggesting earlier. Yeah. And like you're saying, AA, like, I mean, I don't know if you're going to need an Alfred that needs to be able to fight, because no Alfred that we have seen in any live action iteration is actually, unless I'm forgetting, the Alfred Pennyworth, the TV show version aside, because that's a young version of the character, but none of the movie iterations that are kind of like that older iteration of the character, we only talk about what they used to do in the past. We have never seen them like take down goons in the present day.
Yes,
story.
We know what Michael Caine's Alfred did in the past, because God knows he had 700 monologues of it in those damn movies. Hey, Alfred, what you want for breakfast today? I knew this guy back in, Wales, 1942. It's like, bro,
the size of
care.
tangerines.
Anyway, So this I was thinking of like
Uh,
specifically soldier vibes. He's played kind of like a soldier-esque character.
mm-hmm.
Like Blackjack Randall was kind of like a soldier-esque character, and this would be, I think he would just fit in that. But like maybe they don't want to go with like a more like younger portrayal. That's maybe he doesn't want to do IP work. And he's better at playing villains. So like maybe that would be a good challenge for him because he's usually playing villains. Like he's usually
Yeah.
playing like the worst kind of slimy dick bags. Like F1, he was a slimy little
Right.
shit. Blackjack Randall was this inhumane, fucking deplorable degenerate. And somehow lost to fucking like John Cryer from Two and a Half Men or whatever the fuck. Or no, it was Christian Slater from Mr. Robot. Don't get me wrong, great show, but like Tobias Menzies was easily better. Um, but yeah, I think this would be a good choice. He's not like incredibly well known, so I think that would help. And maybe they do want to. I don't know. I'm gonna go with 7 on this one again. Like not perfect, but
Above
like I think
average.
he would do that very well. I think he would do like I'll be maybe like a 6. Buy that
Right.
for a dollar. Maybe like 6.5. I think that would be like in between there.
Figure drawing just suggested a really great name. We'll bring that in later in the show, John. But figure drawing, great shout. I will say though, enterprising brings up a good point. If you go with somebody who's in his 50s, even if you make him look like they're in their 60s, that kind of changes the dynamic a little bit with Batman and Bruce Wayne because we know this
Right.
iteration, at least the last check, was gonna be a Batman in their 40s, not like maybe late 40s, kind of like what Ben Affleck's Batman was playing, but somebody, or maybe certainly like late 30s, early 40s, like old enough to have had a kid who's now a teenager. But again, that might have changed because they've been rewriting that Batman Brave and the Bold script. So this could work if you go with a younger Batman in the DCU, but if they're going to stick with that older age profile, late 30s, early 40s, then that kind of changes up. I mean, you can age him up maybe by 10 years, gruff him up a little bit, Tobias Menzies, but yeah, I mean, like a 20 something age difference. And it's kind of hard. I mean, look, again, you don't need to know the exact numbers to enjoy the movie. I'm just saying, could they pull it off? It would require a little more work than maybe, like a Hugh Laurie kind of coming in, but
Yeah.
or like a Bryan Cranston, which I think Figure Drawing was suggesting. But anyway, it's still a good
Um.
pick. Again, very
Yeah.
different from the last two.
But then we finally get to a James Bond
Hey,
and
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. I think again, if you want to go for that soldier vibe, I think, yeah, you know,
Fair point,
um,
Eric.
and the thing is, he's about the same age as Andy Serkis was when he
Mm-hmm.
got the role of Alfred
Mm-hmm.
in the Batman. So, like, I think that's a good, which is, I mean, to be fair, that's a year 2 Batman, so that also says something. But they also like gave him some grayer hair and made him look older and all that shit. But obviously, being like James Bond, I think he would nail the soldier with an edge portrayal scene in modern comics. He could bring a bit of, Benoit into the role, showing he is just as intelligent as his Master Wayne. Um, and he's starting to show his age, which would be better for the character. Like if you saw
Yeah,
him
I
in
was gonna say, like,
in
I've
the
seen
last
some red
Knives Out
carpet
movie, he had
stuff.
long gray hair, he had
Yeah,
stubble. He's looking fucking old. He looks older than
dude,
honestly. I was surprised he was 57.
he, yeah, and he's also leaning into that a little bit with his sense of style and fashion. Like, I've seen some red carpet photos where I'm like, did Daniel Craig just like age up by 10 years in the past couple of years? Like, it's just, and I think it's more like he's leaning into that more now that he's done playing Bond.
Not that he couldn't do Sergeant Rock, he just didn't
Yeah,
want to. Like he just said, "Fucking
exactly.
no." Like what?
Daniel Craig. But anyway, I will just say though, like the whole aura of Alfred was basically James Bond back in the day would be like the meta nature of this casting would be beyond amazing
Would
because he
be
was
great.
literally James Bond back in the day, so
Yeah.
Daniel Craig, like when he talks about tangerines or like rubies the size of tangerines, I'm gonna start rewinding back those James Bond movies and trying to find those rubies the size of tangerines. Maybe in Casino Royale, the extended edition. I don't know. Like so, uh, and that would be
Yeah.
quite the coup for the DC universe.
But the thing is, Ryan Johnson has said multiple times that he wants to
Mm-hmm.
keep making Knives Out movies. So I think Daniel Craig
Mm-hmm.
is going to be doing that, and he's also going to be Uncle Andrew in Narnia in the Narnia
Yeah.
movie. And if that's going to be a continued thing, then he might
I mean, supposedly he chose the Narnia thing over the DC offer that he had for Sergeant
Yeah, so maybe that's
Rock.
just there's
So,
that. And the thing is, maybe he just got sick of being in a major IP after
or
being
like
in it for
certainly
too
playing like
long.
action star roles because
Yeah,
like he
like
had so many major
007 being in
like
that for so long, and he's just
but
kind
he
of
had
sick of
major
it.
injuries playing double like almost in every
Exactly.
movie that he did. Like I think at least half of the James Bond movies he had injuries that stopped production for months at a time, and that takes a toll on you. So
Yeah.
you know, by the way, also say the Narnia the Narnia movies will
No,
probably
yeah,
continue,
I'm not
but
saying like we're talking smack. Like he just kind of
yeah,
got what he got just got sick of being fucking injured
hmm
all the time. Like he
yeah,
just got sick of it. Like
like Tom Hardy,
I don't want to be
yeah,
consistently fucking injured. That's not fun.
exactly.
And
I mean, Tom Hardy said
I
like
know
he's beat
people are
up,
gonna
you
go
know.
to the whole fucking like, oh, I wanted to slip my wrist. Clearly he was fucking joking. That was a joke. Like it was a dark joke, but again, British.
Yeah.
They're always dark. But he got sick, even though Alfred wouldn't be like, he'd be doing a lot. Like, at the most, he would be like fucking
Hmm.
shooting a shotgun. Like, I think you've confused my master's no kill rule for mine, and I subscribe to no such niceties whilst loading a shotgun. So I could see Daniel Craig doing that. Like, that would be.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were calling me yet. I just wanted to clarify,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think he wants to focus on projects like having like a lot of time between them because like he seems to be like doing like one project a year, which is good. Like he doesn't want to do like a million things at once. He just wants to
Hmm.
slow down. He's getting older
Yeah.
and he just kind of wants to do whatever. And I think that
I
would
mean,
be
and
that's cool.
he's always yeah, and he's always been judicious with the roles that he picks, even before he became Bond. Like famously, the Broccoli's had to do a lot of leg work, and it took a bit of convincing for Daniel Craig to even sign on to play James Bond in the first place. Like he declined it a few times before he finally said yes. And so from an early part of his career, before he was like an A-lister, he already was like very picky about the roles and not playing just about anything and everything.
Exactly.
And
Exactly
even
that
with the
difference. That's a big
yeah,
plus.
like
So
it's like a multi-picture deal, I think right now. I mean, look, Narnia. I don't know if his role is going to continue beyond the one Narnia movie he's a part of. And then the Knives Out franchise. While Rian Johnson would love to do more, he's been sort of open about the idea that they might be putting that on hold for a little while, and then like
right.
their deal with Netflix was only for 3 movies total. Well, 2 movies that they did. So it's the future of the Knives Out franchise is a bit uncertain because it's not. It's kind of like the Avatar movies. There's no guarantee there'll be more, but there definitely could
Hmm.
be. So I mean, Daniel Craig kind of is like a free man right now. He's a free agent. He can really choose to do what he wants. I mean, he's doing the Narnia film, which I bet he's already been filming because it's coming out this year, or he might already be done filming his part. Uh, but like you said, John, he's leaning into more of those dramatic roles, less action star roles. So maybe that explains the Sergeant Rock situation. But that also would be, kind of like a pro in the sense that playing Alfred doesn't require really for you to go out there fighting and
He's
being
not
in car
Batman.
chases. Yeah, because and this is where like the contrast with the Jeffrey Wright Alfred would be even more obvious. I mean, the Jeffrey Wright Alfred is not British. He's not like an ex special
Andy
British special
Serkis, you
agent.
mean?
He's never mind.
Jeffrey
I
Wright
it's
is
way too
Commissioner
late. It's
Gordon.
way too late in the night for me to like make comparisons.
Yeah, no,
But
you're good.
I
I'm
am
just
way
gonna
too
say
off the
even
mark.
odds. I'm gonna say even
Yeah.
odds because maybe he didn't want to do
Forget
Sergeant
that
Rock.
happened.
He didn't want to do Sergeant Rock because of different reasons. I mean, that's a lot of stuff, and he didn't want to deal with injuries, so he didn't do. But Alfred doesn't require that. He's a supporting character. He's not Batman. He's
Yeah.
and he's doing he's just a side character, so it's fine. Like it would be a little bit better, but he's been against it, so we'll see. Obviously,
Although I like John, one thing that you pointed out before that I think would be valid here, like casting Lars Ettinger to play Brainiac. Uh, DC has not been bringing in A-listers for the big roles, and certainly not for
Right.
the small ones. They've been really cost conscious in the new DC Studio setup. So
Right.
bringing in a Daniel Craig to play a side character, like a supporting role, like Alfred Pennyworth, I could see it in the previous regimes, but I mean, Andy Serkis was cast as Alfred before James Gunn and Peter Safran got the job, and so I do wonder if that would be a consideration because Daniel Craig also would ask for a hefty fee, which he deserves,
Hmm.
but I don't know if they would set that aside to because I mean, look, if they cast Brendan Sklenar or somebody like that as Batman, I bet you Daniel Craig would demand, a bigger fee than the guy playing the lead of the movie in Batman. So, how do you justify that? Like that would be something to consider. I mean, yes, we've had Michael Caine play the role in the past. I don't know what the contracts look like or but I don't think Michael Caine was making more than Christian Bale, but Daniel Craig and Michael Caine would have been in two different stages of their careers. I believe Michael Caine was in his 60s or 70s at the time. And Craig, even though he's in his late 50s now, certainly it feels a lot younger than Michael Caine was when he played, Alfred in the first Batman Begins film.
Right.
So, yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's just go over the choices real
No,
quick.
I'm not going to say Liam Neeson. I don't think that's actually a pick, but
No,
never
he's
mind. Yeah.
not. But I
Yeah.
had Hugh Laurie, Peter Davison, Anthony Head, Tobias Menzies, and Daniel Craig. Then we are going to our
Daniel
honorable
Craig.
I don't fucking
Sorry.
give a shit how fucking it's pronounced. I'm saying Craig because I'm fucking American, all right? Now, the ones
Craig.
I have here. So, the first one I have, first out of it is Christian Bale. How fucking funny would that be? Like, he's in his 50s, he's in it like a good point. But, like, how fucking amazing would that be? You have a previous Batman actor play Alfred. That would be awesome. I don't care what anybody says. That that is
You
awesome.
you 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 either die a hero or live long enough to be see yourself become the Alfred. Is
But
that
like it could be
or the
music, but it could be
butler?
intriguing. Like it shows that like in another universe he would be Alfred. I just think that would be funny. Anyway, so then the next person I had is Neil McCall. You probably have no fucking clue who this guy is. Well, he's essentially a nobody. He's a nobody and I think
Yeah,
you would
I
pick.
have no
I
idea
think
who he is.
we don't know who he is exactly.
Hey,
You know,
Tope Pigeon.
exactly,
That's a cool name.
exactly what I was going for. But Neil McCall, he's essentially a small time TV actor, working actor, like like his most noteworthy, performance is like fucking Romeo and Juliet, like just like something ridiculous like that. But essentially, and the thing is, I was like, I'll throw John Cleese in there. He would be, come on, he would be the sad. He's too
I
old.
just, dude,
He's too
I just
fucking old.
watched. I
But
just watched the Pink Panther 2, and that movie's like 10 plus years old, and he looked a bit old in that film, so I don't even know what he looks like today.
yeah, dude is way too old. Like he could be like
Mm.
Alfred like once, and like boom, there we go, and then that's it. But I think Neil McCall would be the most likely because he's a fucking nobody. So that's who I think DC would be like going for, like essentially a nobody that nobody even talk. He's just a working actor, so it's like, yeah, throw him in. Because I think I used him as part of another video series I was working on. I'm like, I've seen that face before. So I was like, let me use him here. And I think,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think he would be more serious. I think he would be good. Again, that would be likely because again, he's essentially a nobody actor. Um,
Rowan Atkinson. Okay, okay. I'm gonna wait to comment on that till we bring everybody all the
yes,
other choices.
but we're
I will
done.
just say
Those are
though,
my honorable
I would
mentions.
the dishonorable mentions. I feel like these are the most divisive honorable mentions since I dropped Zack Snyder as a possible director for the DCU Justice League. So I just wanted to say that. But I do wonder though, John, if Christian Bale was Alfred, do you think he'd be talking about back in my day? Somebody told me about the mission that we went on where they found kids playing with rubies the size of tangerines.
I don't even fucking know what you're referencing. I don't even remember that in the fucking movie. So, you know.
It was the scene in The Dark Knight where he's like talking about the story of like it wasn't about the money. Like some people men just want to watch the world burn.
Hmm.
Isn't it from that monologue? Am I
I don't remember.
anyway? My brain is all over the place. Anyway, John, we have some picks from the folks in the
We
chat.
do have some picks.
Let's go through
I
those.
know Tony said, I think he mentioned Timothy. He said Mark Rylance, Timothy Dalton, and Pierce Brosnan. Problem with Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan, they've already played DC characters, and they're unlikely they would come back as Alfred. Timothy Dalton already played Chief in Doom Patrol. Pierce Brosnan already played Dr. Fate in Black Adam, so it's unlikely that they would come back to play a completely different role in a different continuity. So, but someone said Simon Pegg. No, ew. Colin Firth, too obvious. I think he would be fine, but
I mean, but he was a Kingsman, you know, like that. There's a meta nature to playing Alfred. He's already kind of played the Bond character. So
Christopher McDonald, not British. Ron Perlman, not British. John Waters would be fucking hysterical. Like, never in a billion trillion years would it ever happen. But I would watch the shit out of that movie. And Jeffrey from Fresh Prince, I don't even think he's still alive.
Oh, yeah. You know what? You're probably. Well, I don't want to say that for sure without knowing, but you
know. No, Joseph Marcel. He's old, but he's still kicking. He's 77. I think he's a little bit too old now.
That'd be the oldest pick that we would have on the show. Maybe outside of John Cleese.
You know, then Daniel Day-Lewis, never in a billion trillion years, but I'd like to see it.
I think he's re-retired after doing that movie.
Yes,
An Enemy,
he did that one movie for his son, and then that was it. Gerard Butler, honestly, I can see it, and it would be
it's like in the name.
And I mean, here's the thing: it would be like the first good movie he's done in like 20 years. So, like, you know,
come on, the Greenland movies are not bad.
No, they're not bad.
And then all the Fallen movies.
When you see Gerard Butler in a movie, it's like, oh, okay, it's like that kind of movie.
No, come on. The Olympus Has Fallen was good.
Geostorm, Plane.
Oh, okay. Like, Geostorm, fair. Plane, also fair. But I think the Olympus Has Fallen was way better than White House Down, and probably like the best White House takedown movie. You know, like. Or like, and the sequels too. London Has Fallen was actually, I thought, was an improvement over it, over this first one. So,
but Gerard Butler, I could see it. Again,
he's got Greenland 2 out right now.
Earth 1 portrayal. Yeah. Even like the thing is, the look, he would be good, but like he's not British, so you know he's got to be British. Like that's like pretty much the go. Like, he's got to be British, Scottish, Welsh, of the British Isles. Again, Bryan Cranston. Again, not of the British Isles. Timothy Dalton was mentioned, and Tony said that before.
He literally played Bond.
You know, played Bond. Liam Neeson, no, hell no. And then fucking who the fuck? Figure drawing. And you say and you say my jokes are bad. Anyway.
Oh, what about Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean? That'd be too on the nose.
Unlikely.
He could talk about his adventures as Johnny English back in the day.
Timothy Chalamet? What the fuck?
I think that's from another episode.
Colin Firth, they agreed. I like Stephen Fry could be good. I would like. I mean, he was Hugh Laurie's comedy partner for years, so you know. Hang on a sec. Hang on. Hold on. Oh my God. Hang on.
Ray Fiennes?
John.exe has stopped working. Did you just refer to Rafe Fiennes, one of the greatest actors currently living and one of the greatest actors who in the history of film? Did you just call him that dude from the Bone Temple movie? Bane, get out. Just get out. Just get out, or I'm gonna break your back. Okay? I couldn't fathom that. I gotta move on. Okay, Idris Elba could be good.
Hijack season 2 right now.
Jeffrey Rush, he's Australian, but I still can see it working. If he said Dolph, I'm saying Arnold. Batman, you got to get out.
I'll be back. It's not a
Anyway.
Tuma. No, can you imagine if he was Jeffrey Goff's version? He's like, it's not a Tuma. No, it's not a Tuma. In like
Ben Kingsley, I could see that.
yeah.
Too old now, but Anthony
Ta-ra.
Hopkins, yeah, he's too old.
That's Liverpool for goodbye. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, the
Trevor.
thing is, Ray Fiennes would be
Slattery.
perfect for any role. I'd want to see Ray Fiennes as Batman, for fuck's sake.
Mhm.
Like, he would nail it. Of course, he would nail every role. Grace Jones, what the fuck? Anyway,
Why are we getting who's Bridget Nelson?
Stellan Skarsgård could be good. I mean, he is Scandinavian, but again, maybe they could make that work.
Mhm. That's a really good. I mean, Stellan Skarsgård would be great, but again, he's not really British.
But you know,
Sir Ben Kingsley, yeah.
Ian McKellen's way too old, man, and plus he's doing fucking Avengers Doomsday where he's inevitably
Magneto.
Gonna get killed off. So
I think Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart are at that age now where they're pretty much almost retired as actors. So
yeah, like, pretty much.
I don't think they would want to sign on to a new franchise.
Exactly. But we do Mads Mikkelsen could be good. I think that's what you meant. You fucking butchered his name, but again, he's Dutch, but
Anthony Hopkins could be good. Again, a little too old to start, and I mean, yeah, he kind of played.
You got to pick someone like in their 60s,
last
maybe
Transformers
70s
movie. I think Ray Fiennes would be the ideal pick, but I just think he would be too high.
I thought that was too obvious, and
too high profile
Brainiac. So
no, but also he's too high profile of an actor to be cast in a supporting role like this. That's the thing about yeah.
Ray Fiennes was already Alfred. He voiced Alfred in the Lego Batman movie.
He did. So. I mean, and then again, he would be committing to a franchise, which I mean, I don't know if he's but you know what though? I don't think he's against the idea. He did Voldemort. He's probably still going to be M in the new James Bond, unless they go in a totally different direction. But I think Ray Fiennes is somebody who we didn't mention, but that would definitely be.
I just didn't do it because it was too obvious. Because like he would nail it. He would be perfect. Yeah. It would be absolute cinema. So that's why I didn't.
Well,
but. Anyway,
let us know in the comments down below who are your best picks or favorite picks. If you were watching live, thank you again for dropping in the chat. But if you weren't watching live, drop your picks for the DCU Alfred in the comments down below. Because again, we might see Alfred before we get to see even Batman. Because yes, in Man of Tomorrow, we might only get at most a mention of Batman.
Maybe around like 10, 20 years ago he would have been perfect, but I think he's too old now.
Yeah. Like Alfred might be coming up in a different project before we get to see him in a Batman movie, and so I'm sure they're gonna look to cast an actor, and again probably for somebody who's gonna be able to kind of play the role for a long time. But yeah, let us know in comments. Hit the like button while you're at it. We're not done yet though, John, because as we usually do, we talk about the poll for Tier List Tuesday because of course it's Friday into Saturday, depending on when you're watching this, and
the thing is, guys, Dan made this when he was very tired. He meant the 28 movie franchise, not just the years later movies. But it's okay. Dan was tired.
I was just like, it's like how they. By the way, Sean Bean could definitely work. It's kind of like how the name, ships in the military. They're like it's like the something class of ships, like the Ohio class of battleships. I just like, and I know that's not really in the same convention because at first. Movie was called 28 Days Later, but it's hard. It's like 28 dash 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 later. Like I'm like most people know today as 28 years later. So there you go. And Ray Fiennes right there. So you know what I'm talking about. But for Tier List Tuesday, you guys can vote for the topic. It's pinned in the live chat right now, and it's also in the description for the video if you're not watching live.
It's technically called, according to this, it's called the 28 Days Later franchise. So
again,
whatever.
That would be like the Ohio class of battleships convention, like how they name military
but
ships.
We have Avengers Doomsday teasers from last week. We got the 28 blank later movies, the Scream movies in honor of Scream 7, and then in honor of this list. This Fancast Friday, we're doing DC out. Well, I mean, obviously there would be no Marvel Alfred actors, but again, we're good. But yeah, we would be doing Alfred actors for Tier List Tuesday from, the OG to Circus.
Ron already voted. I mean, hey, Tope Pigeon, which is a great name for a Batman character, saying Sean Bean would actually be great. Just hope they don't kill Alfred off in the first film. Hey, we are picking up what you're throwing down.
Sean Bean didn't die in National Treasure.
That's right.
Percy Jackson.
He got arrested. He just got arrested.
He was
exactly
Zeus or Poseidon in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief movie. So I
Yeah.
think he was Zeus. So
You know what though? Another low key great pick because he's definitely played those roles. I could totally buy he was an MI6 agent back in the day, and he can
yeah,
kick
I
some
mean
serious ass
he was
today.
006.
He was
Not
006?
but he was
Yeah,
006.
006. You know what that means? It's like it's Clive Owen plays 006 in the Pink Panther, the first one. He's like, you know what that means? Yes, you are one away from the big one. And I just sorry, I was up late watching Zelda, and I just like when I'm staying up late at night, I just watch movies on YouTube that are free.
Right.
So the Pink
Anyway,
Panther movies
go
I've
vote.
seen recently. Yeah.
Have fun with it. Let's see. Oh damn! Oh
Oh,
guys,
it
don't vote
updated.
for fucking doomsday teasers. If you're doing doomsday teasers, I'm not doing it. I'm not. I don't. All of them can go in D tier.
X-Men goated. It's just X-Men.
All of
Steve
them can go
Rogers
in
is
D
probably
tier.
at the
I don't give a
bottom.
fuck. Like, guys, don't do fucking doomsday. God, you guys suck. I fucking hate you guys. But yeah, that's
So
anyway.
again, can we just one last time, if you want to just can we just highlight the options? If you guys are listening to the show rather than watching, then the tier list Tuesday poll is up in the community post section. The 4 picks are Avengers, Doomsday teasers or clues.
Not an MCU hater. I'm a hater of the fucking Avengers Doomsday movie.
Then you got the 28 Years Later's movies, the Scream movies, and the DC Alfred actors. So that could be any one of those choices you could pick out, and we could make that the topic for Tier List Tuesday, and then we'll rank those. So yeah, I mean, and as Bane will break you is telling y'all to do, break that like button. Your back will thank you for it. Absolutely. I think that's a solid logic right there. Still gotta sound posh, not that Cockney shit. Well, I mean, I'm sure Sean Bean can pull that off, and then especially if Richard Madden's Batman. But yeah, guys, like the video on your way out if you're watching live. If you're not watching live, we still would love to hear from you in the comments down below, and hit subscribe while you're at it because we're doing this every Friday, Fancast Friday. We got Tier List Tuesday, and of course, we're live on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays this January and February on DCU Daily. And then hopefully in March onward, when the movie schedule picks up, we will be live 5 days a week again on DCU Daily. So with that in mind, we'll see you on the other side of the weekend. It's going to be MLK Day, so it'll be a special holiday edition of DCU Daily. Until then, go to the movies. Watch Avatar. Watch 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Check out Marty Supreme. Why don't you go watch The Housemaid? There's at least 2 very good reasons you should. And then there's so many other options. And if you're staying at home, then I'm sure you got a ton more to check out on Netflix and beyond. We got some NFL football over the weekend. And then, whatever news drops over the weekend, we'll bring it to you on the other side. And thank you for joining us for a week of fantastic shows. And John, thank you for your picks on Fancast Friday. And yeah, that does it. Thanks, guys, for a great week. We'll see you in the next one on Monday. Until then, look up, look out, and
truth, justice, whatever. And also fuck Tom King and fuck Jeff Snyder.